Attention all podcasts of the Solar Federation. We have assumed control. We have assumed control. We have assumed control.
The Intergalactic Boombox.
What, man? Just making sure you're listening. A weasel walks into a bar.
Yes.
The bartender says, "Wow, I've never served a weasel before. What can I get you?" "Pop," goes the weasel.
That's about a mid-tier. Let me give you a top tier. Listen up. Elton John bought his pet rabbit a treadmill. It's a little fit bunny.
Endive sent a boostergram worth 1,055 sats. He says, "Why doesn't a photon need a suitcase?"
I don't know. Why doesn't a photon need a suitcase?
Because it's traveling light.
Oh.
Welcome to the Intergalactic Boombox, a spacefaring theater of the mind. My mind, to be specific. My name's Kyle A. Bear. I'm your host and landlord who needs to charge rent to all the voices living inside my head. Every voice you hear is erupting from my throat, but do me a solid and use the power of imagination to conjure the image of various characters interacting with me through the power of post-production. Because voice actors are special. Speaking of special, put your hands together for the Al Capella Symphony Orchestra. Hey-o! Just take all the Grammys, Al. Yeah. Number one movie this week globally is one I'm very, very proud to be a part of. Dragonball Super Superhero. It's currently in theaters and IMAX, and oh, looky, it's one of our newer resident aliens. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Affirmative, Captain. This is Box Office Benny. Ready to light this show like a candle, pumping the static into your attic, the wattage into your cottage, and why are you staring at me?
Well, I'm trying to do a podcast here. What's with your helmet and a mic dangling off the robotic rotating boom arm like that?
It's 2022, babe. Try to keep up.
Okay.
Wireless is where it's at. I need my claws to be free. You see, it's how I breathe. I just wiggle the claws.
Jazz claws. I get it. Why are you here, Benny?
Let me spill the tea between you and me. I got some box office stats, so how about that?
I already know Dragon Ball Superhero was number one.
Way to bury the lead there.
Thanks.
21 million buckaroos, boffo box office. Killer debut weekend, especially for an anime flick.
Oh, yeah.
Slurp it up half as much. Beast featuring Idris Elba versus a lion. Distant second slot at 11 mil. Let's not cancel the apocalypse just yet, Idris.
Okay. Go on.
Brad Pitt's action comedy Bullet Train chugging away into third place with 8 million. 5.9 million filling Tom Cruise at Paramount's pockets with Top Gun Maverick flying high into fourth place. And rounding out the top five, DC's League of Super Pets, pooping and peeing all over Batman and Superman's yards. And taking fifth with just a skosh less than 5.8 million. Yeah.
All right, Benny.
Practical, theatrical, crack-a-lactical, box office Benny, counting the pennies.
Yeah.
For now, stay groovies, and I'll see you at the movies.
All right. Time to give some love to this week's Sad Cats. Listeners who supported the show via a micropayment donation through a Podcasting 2.0 app from newpodcastapps.com. Saints and Sats boosted 475 sats and says, "You keep your influenza away from me." That's how I feel too. Little throwback to last week's conspiracy segment. Jirik sent 380 sats. Funniest podcast in the Fountain Galaxy. Talking about the Fountain app. Great free podcast player that actually pays you in Satoshis so you can then bank up your wallet or share those Satoshis back. The littlest bits of Bitcoin right back to value for value enabled podcasts such as this one. Coinictus sent 10 sats. Funny podcast. Thanks. Well, thank you, Coin. SPJ sent 24 sats. Very clever show. Love your sense of humor. Humor spelt in the British way with a O-U instead of O-R. T-Man Not He-Man sent 10 sats. Says, neat background content for DBZ. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for listening, bud. Atwood Survival says, I just sat down to this podcast. I see what you did there. In Viega sent 57 sats. Still the best. Chandler Bingcoin sent 10 sats. Love your dad jokes. RDG3 sent 24 sats. Fun to listen to. 95 sats. Walter W says 100 sats, 100 jokes. Ivan Jansen sent 76 sats and says, hilarious. Don't let all the zeros fool you with Satoshis, okay? 5,000 Satoshis equals roughly $1. okay? So if you dig the content of any value for value podcast, customize your Podcasting 2.0 app with a higher sats per minute on playback and a higher boost level to send a custom message. Your support means the world.
Question of the week.
You got a nickname? If so, what's the story behind it? Pocket Parlay boosted 2,850 sats and says my initials are KAP, so I got called Capper when I was little. But hey, with a name like Kyle, can't be all bad, right? Thanks for the great podcast every week. Kyle, thank you very muchly. What's in my head podcast? Replied, Caveman. I look like Caveman from the Geico commercials from back in the day. Very nice. Newsflash Gordon sent 19 sats and says, we called our friend Magpie at uni as he would pick up anything in the bar. Great show, thanks. Desi says her nickname was Kit Kat because people need a break from her. Good night, everybody. E.F. Erringer graduated middle school with the nickname Triple T because of his love for Terminator, Transformers, and Tremors.
Question.
Should big franchises focus on TV series or stick to movies? Storyline is given room to breathe, characters to develop, and a plot to play out without feeling rushed if you're given a TV series. On the downside, some TV shows can meander, lose focus. We're in a time where things like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series could have been tightened up and worked better as a movie. In fact, one fan actually took it upon himself to edit the episodes together as a feature film. And then there's Moon Knight. That worked perfectly as a 6-episode show. Boost your replies with a custom Boostagram message on a free forever Podcasting 2.0 podcast player. Or hit me up at BoomboxPod on the Twitters.
And now, 10-second review of House of the Dragon.
No way am I going back to Westeros. They burnt that bridge with the last season of Game of Thrones.
1 hour after finishing episode 1.
I need more, now! Even if Matt Smith is cosplaying Geralt.
Disney Plus is all about new TV series. The next big franchise to get the small screen treatment is, wait for it, King Kong. Yeah, I know. If you're gonna go with giant monsters, why can't it just be Godzilla? Well, hey, nowadays, literally anything is possible. No plot specifics or mention of any kaiju in this announcement. Also, it's seemingly unconnected to the big screen monsterverse from Legendary Pictures. The new supernatural action-packed ape-tastic adventures will be based on the many Kong novels of yesteryear and some new ones. Maybe you'll have a wacky dinosaur sidekick who could get his own spin-off, huh? And then the spin-off can be adapted into a movie trilogy where it can then expand into the metaverse and... You ever wonder what a black hole sounds like? Me either. But Soundgarden and cheesy Disney movies aside, check this out. Now, we're always taught that there's no sound in space, but scientists have now provided ominous audio that proves this not to be completely the case. What you're hearing is apparently a black hole, amplified and mixed with some other data. NASA claims the pitch is too deep to be heard by human ears. It's pitched 57 octaves below a middle C note. That makes sense to all the music nerds. Sound can't travel through space because it's a vacuum, but here, ripples in star clusters, hot gases, are caused by pressure waves coming out of the black hole. I know that because I read it on the internet, and it must be true. Aquaman, and the Lost Kingdom just got bumped from March next year to next Christmas, as in 2023. Although it's fun to assume it's to fill up the runtime since chopping Amber Heard's Mara down to a glorified cameo. Deadline is reporting something more realistic. The studio needs more time for post-production. That makes sense, since the DCEU films are facing some shuffling around with Batgirl canceled. Every day I'm shuffling. Or maybe the studio heard the pleas of VFX artists all over the world saying stop the soul-crushing overtime hours, causing half-baked effects to be ripped to shreds by ruthless social media. Hit the
Link in the show notes
to see Jason Momoa's new costumes for Aquaman straight off his Instagram, or glance up at the chapter art in your Podcasting 2.0 app, which is much easier. Go ahead. I'll wait. That one black outfit looks like Arthur Curry has the same tailor as Batman. From my top-secret underground bunker in Pahrump, Nevada, Conspiracy here.
Ken, hold on. Cut.
What in the Bob Lazar do you want now, Herbert?
You say you're broadcasting from a top-secret underground bunker?
Hush, don't tell anybody.
But you announce it every week in your intro and outro.
Everyone knows that nobody listens to a multiple-personality lollapaloozer like you.
I just want to clarify that if anybody's listening, it's no secret that your bunker is just a broom closet on the ship here.
Correction. I converted it into a bunker. I even named this bunker.
You named the bunker?
Yes. His name's Archie.
Archie Bunker. Clever.
Look, if you can pretend you're on a spaceship, I can pretend I'm in an underground bunker. Meathead.
Touche.
Let me ask you a serious question.
Shoot.
At what point did your mom realize she gave birth to a skin tag?
I'll bet you I'm the only skin tag with a podcast.
Pipe down, douche canoe. It's time for all the news you can't use. Page 1. We live in an age where people can openly express themselves as who they feel they really are. And yet, inevitably, there are a few booger goblins where you give them an inch and they take the whole ruler. Let me explain. One teen in Australia thinks she's a cat and refuses to communicate in any other way. What's weirder is that her private school's okay with this, as long as it doesn't distract other students. All right, listen. Everyone comes with their own mental issues. I respect that. But are you going to tell me that these students can simply ignore someone meowing and hissing and walking on all fours and knocking things off shelves just to troll you? Everyone learns differently. But if that little chickadee coughs up a hairball, causing pandemonium and grossing out the students, don't you dare come whining to me. Page 2. There's a trend on the rise in podcasting. A host who is morally dubious.
Look, I'm just a voice actor.
Hush, Herbert. I'm not talking about you. I said morally dubious, not brain dead. We've seen it all in the media. Only murders in the building. Dexter, that kind of dubious donkey dunker that gets themselves involved in true crime in order to garner hits, followers, and potentially lucrative sponsorships. This practice is ripe with plagiarism and... I thought Robert Stack died years ago. Who are you?
I'm Drew Grime from the Drew Grime True Crime Podcast.
Ah, what a coinkydink. I bet you're a Scooby-Doobious podcaster yourself.
Which reminds me of the mysterious tale of Franklin Frumpleworth of Skunk Juice, Illinois.
Why?
I'll tell you.
It's rhetorical, Nimrod.
It's Drew Grime.
Oh, for God's sake.
Franklin was a 45-year-old man-baby who got married to one of his many pillows with anime girls on them.
Let me guess, someone killed him.
He ended up smothered to death by his pillow collection.
Well, that sucks.
Were these pillows jealous? Or did he deliberately pack all the pillows together in a huge suspended net from the ceiling and unleash their fluffy fury crashing down upon his head?
Well, that's elaborate.
These questions and more coming up on the Drew Grime True Crime Podcast.
Oh, move along, Moof Milker. No commercials on my watch. Page 3. We've heard science nerds pontificate for decades the plans to aim a rocket at an asteroid to change its course. September 26, 2022, NASA plans to launch DART, which stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test. The target is 2 asteroids not already on a collision course with Earth and won't be due to this impact test. Dimorphos and its orbiting asteroid moon in the Didymos system. Now, I no longer care if rockets can deflect planet-killing space rocks. The big question I have is, since when do rappers get galaxies named after them? And I'm spent. That's all the news you can't use. Conspiracy here from my dump.
It's a broom closet on board the Intergalactic Boombox, Ken.
It's my dump in Pahrump. Kirk, your family tree must be a circle.
Aw, look at the time.
The Intergalactic Boombox is scraped in front of a studio audience and smushed into the curb. Portions of this podcast were peppered with pork rinds while paraded around puppies in the park. 2 out of 1 dentists surveyed believe the IBB is A-OK.
Remember, kids, Oliver Sacks says music frames our entire lifespan. It shapes humans from a very early age. And I say, with what passes for music nowadays, we are way out of shape. Till next time, doodles.